For this demo, we're going to quickly learn how to create a simple rig so that we can test our mesh as it's deforming, making sure that the mesh is deforming properly, as well as being able to pose our characters for rendering for our portfolio. So let's get started by pushing F for front, and I'm going to turn on my grid. And the first thing that I want to do is go ahead and select on Create Panel and Bones or Systems, and here Bones. We're going to create some custom bones here today. And what I'm going to do is turn on Snapping to make sure that I've right-clicked on that icon with the 3 on it, and I want to make sure that my grid points are selected so that I can snap to the grid. Alright, and now I'm going to go in here and first find my hip where the what's called the root node is going to be located, and that's going to be right in the center of the hips. And then I'm going to draw it upward. Now most of the movement of the spine is in the lower lumbar region, so I'm going to go ahead and put a couple of short bones in there. Then the upper region of the spine does not move as much, so I'm going to create a long bone somewhere right in the center here, so that that is the bone that I'm going to attach my clavicle bones to. So I'm going to draw that right up. Then at the base of the neck, at the top of the neck, and then I'm going to give myself an extra one for the head. Right click, which completes that chain. Now right here I'm going to go ahead and click on the base here. Oops. And then I'm going to come up toward the top of the shoulder. That gives a little bit better result usually. Then I'm going to click on the elbow, the wrist, and for now I'm just going to give myself one bone for the hand. You can go ahead and create a hand bone and then the finger bones if you choose to do that, and I certainly hope that you will. And then what we're going to do is come in here and do a leg bone as well. Now what I like to do is start over here toward the center of the what's called the head of the greater trochanter, which is the bone, the leg bone that comes up here. It's the head of that bone that fits right into the hip, and it's located right in this region here. And I'm going to start there, come down to the knee, come down to the ankle, and in the front view I can't really place that bone very well, so I'm going to go ahead and click it down lower and then right click to finish that chain. And then I'll come in and go to my left view, that's L on the keyboard, come in here, right click again to get out of my tool, and select that one bone, hit E on the keyboard, and I'm just going to go ahead and rotate that up. Now while I'm in here, I'm going to grab the lower calf bone. I'm going to go ahead and rotate that some. Now the reason I'm going to rotate these bones a little bit is so that the IK that we place on here, the inverse kinematics solvers, will solve this bone string a little bit better, knowing the direction that it's supposed to go. So that's why we're going to rotate these bones to dictate the direction that those bones are supposed to go. Alright, we're going to do the same thing with the arm. We're going to go to top view, and we're going to select on the upper arm bone. We're going to rotate that back until we're toward the back of the elbow. Now we've created our mesh in a way where we know that's the elbow back there because we have our palms out front. I'm going to rotate that back, and I usually place that right in the center of the wrist there. And select on the hand and go ahead and rotate that back. So again, we're creating the direction that those bones are going to be going to tell the IK what the direction is supposed to be before we get there. Alright, And now we're going to go ahead and mirror the bones over to the other side, and we'll be set to place some IK. Alright, now what I'm going to do is front view here, and what I want to do is go ahead and double click on the top bone of that string. And so if I double click, you can see that it selects all the bones, the children bones beyond that. Now if I go up here to bones, you're not going to see the mirror tool in here. So what you want to do is come up here to the animation, roll down, go ahead down where it says bone tools, click on that and it'll bring up some tool set for you to work with. Now inside this tool set, go ahead and go up here, you'll see that mirror is available. Once you have that selection, you can go ahead and select on mirror, and you can mirror that in several different axes. In this case it'll be X for this human character, and that will mirror over your bones. Now this is a fine tool to use if you are keyframing your animation. I typically don't use the mirroring tool for the bones in the case of applying motion capture. It does have some weird artifacting sometimes where it'll flip, and it's just not very happy with the motion capture. So to avoid problems, I would recommend just going ahead and plotting in your bones for the other side as well. But in this case, I want you to know where that tool is, because most of you are probably not going to be technical directors or riggers. You have more interest in concept art and modeling, but knowing the basics of rigging is very important as a modeler, because it allows you to test your mesh and how it's deforming before you ascend it down the line. And many times, in fact most times, when I have had the opportunity to do the character modeling, I am also rigging and animating my characters. So again, generalists are highly valued, and I would recommend to get a nice well-rounded education as much as you possibly can. So with this, I'm going to go ahead and mirror that again, say OK, and in this case I'm going to go ahead and pull that right over there. What I typically do is go ahead and use the link feature and go ahead and select this bone, click and drag and hold your button down, your left button, and drag over to that bone, and then I can just link that right on there. Okay, the hip bone is a solid bone from both sides, so this missing bone here is actually a great way to save memory in your game engine, to be able to link your bones rather than creating transition bones in here. Every bone costs, and it's since this is a solid object in here, your hips, and wherever you move your hip bone, let's go with this tool, we're going to be able to you can see that it would move like a hip bone. It's not going to move away from it at all. Alright, so now once we have that finished, in the next lesson we're going to talk about skinning your character to this bone set and setting keys in order to test your mesh.